Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's very special presentation on Environ's Focus Care Radiance Plus range. At Environ, we use beautiful science to develop intelligent ingredient combinations for specific skin concerns. The Focus Care Radiance range contains various combinations of scientifically researched ingredients that may assist in improving the appearance of uneven skin tone. We recommend adding the MelaSmart system to your daily vitamin step-up system routine to assist in minimizing the signs of pigmentation and sun damage, leaving the skin looking more even and radiantly healthy. We want you to focus on Flawless, focus on Radiance Plus, and join the Radiance Revolution. By the end of the session, we'd like you to be able to identify the skin condition, know how it develops, know how Environ is going to target the development of that skin condition, and recommend the range directly to address the skin concern. So we know that there are 5 main skin conditions that we face with on a daily basis: aging skin, dehydrated, sensitive skin, blemish-prone skin. But today for the Focus Radiance range, we're going to focus on uneven toned skin. So introducing you to the Focus Care Radiance range. Obviously, we know what the visible signs of pigmentation are. The client will complain about things like uneven skin tone, visible signs of sun damage, brown spots and patches, and uneven skin tone, or even a melasma type pattern to the pigmentation. It's quite easy to think about how pigmented skin develops when you're looking at it on a cartoon. You have healthy layers of the skin. You expose yourself to the sun. We know we've done this for many summers in a row. The UV increases melanin in the epidermis, dermis, or even both. The melanin is transferred into the keratinocytes, which migrate to the top of the surface, and you eventually end up with a tan. But it's a lot more complex as to what goes on. The real science behind melanogenesis. UV exposure to the sun induces an increase in production of pigment in the skin. But what we don't realize is that UV radiation also stimulates the release of active chemicals by the actual keratinocyte. These chemicals, along with other hormones such as MSH, ACTH, and estrogen, also influence pigmentation production. These chemical pathways lead to the activation of the enzyme tyrosinase. Through tyrosinase catalyzing the oxidation of tyrosine and further into dopaquinone, melanin is finally formed. The melanosome carrying the melanin is then transferred into the keratinocyte through the process of phagocytosis. Now, this is all simple enough, but what you'll come to realize is that there is a far more complex set of communication systems that are activated when we expose our skin to UV. So we need to listen to the client. If they are concerned about uneven skin tone, we need to match the product to their concern. But first, we need to normalize for healthy-looking skin with a vitamin step-up system. The higher up the vitamin A step-up system there are, the better the resolution of the concern will be. So on a daily basis, they need to be addressing their skin type, having their daily skin diet with the cleansers, toners, and vitamin A moisturizers from either Skin Essentia or Youth Essentia. Then we target the effects of UV stimulation of pigmentation with the Focus Care Radiance range. So winning the battle against the appearance of uneven skin tone, it takes a few processes, and what scientific studies have shown, the ingredients help to do the following. The MelaSmart system consists of 4 products in a 3-step process that introduces your skin to 6 pigmentation inhibitors. The first thing we need to do is reduce the exposure to UV. Sunscreen is of utmost importance. The best laid plans will not work, and you will never see a resolution if your client does not understand what responsibility they need to take in improving skin tone. Sun exposure is one of the biggest reasons why pigmentation is so stubborn and consistently returns. So the client has to be aware that sun exposure will set them back. We want to inhibit tyrosinase activity, block tyrosine activation, inhibit tyrosine conversion into dopaquinone, reduce the melanin transfer into the keratinocytes, and ultimately reduce pigmentation production. We're going to do that through a complex process of ingredients and pathways of communication. So after sun exposure, it has many chemical effects on the skin. Along with poor diet and stress, UV radiation, pollution, and chemical substances create free radicals that ultimately have a damaging effect on the DNA of the skin. The keratinocytes regulate many functions, including proliferation, differentiation, dendritogenesis, and melanogenesis through the release of active chemicals. UV exposure induces inflammation in the epidermis, which manifests as erythema. The keratinocyte's inflammatory response is to release transmitting messages to the melanocyte to synthesize melanin. These include chemicals such as prostaglandin, cytokines, and endothelia type 1. Other factors derived from keratinocytes also include MSH, ACHT, BFGF, and cytokines. All these particular chemicals lead to the activation of tyrosinase. So besides blocking UV exposure, one has to consider the chemical processes that the keratinocytes themselves release into the epidermis after UV exposure. Another cell that's involved in melanogenesis is the mast cell. These are a type of white blood cell that's involved in skin immunology. Mast cells, when stimulated through inflammation, UV radiation, or cytokine messaging from the keratinocytes, release histamine and prostaglandin. In addition, mast cells release various mediators playing an important role in inflammation, such as leukotriene, thromboxane, and tryptase. Both histamine and prostaglandin increase tyrosinase activity and proliferation of the melanocytes. The production of prostaglandin is through the catalyzing by a protein membrane called COX. There are two isoforms of COX. COX1 is ever present in the body and produced to sustain the body's natural homeostasis. COX2 is only produced as needed and usually dependent on cytokine stimulation, and thus plays an important role in inflammation. Then finally, the keratinocytes are involved in gene expression, specifically through the process of nuclear factor kappa B. Nuclear factor kappa B, or NFKB, unlocks gene expression, and this is the process by which the information in our DNA is converted into a functional product. The unfortunate thing about NFKB, it increases the expression of genes involved in immunity, proliferation, apoptosis, and inflammation. When exposed to UVB, there is an increase in the transcription of this NFKB, which increases the release of inflammatory cytokines, which in turn stimulates an increase in NFKB, and a spiral of gene expression, cytokine release, and inflammation ensues. This spiral increases the release of basic fibroblast growth factor, or BFGF, by the keratinocytes, leading to an increase in epidermal thickening, hyperproliferation, abnormal keratinization, with an increase in pigment deposition and melanocyte proliferation. Then we move on to tyrosinase. The activation, action, and involvement in melanogenesis has long been the focal point for the study and treatment of melanogenesis. Many ingredients that inhibit the action of tyrosinase has long been studied and used and proven. Melanin is produced from tyrosine with the aid of the enzymatic reactions by tyrosinase. Tyrosinase initiates melanin synthesis by catalyzing the oxidation of tyrosine into eventually dopaquinone. Now, an exciting new pathway of tyrosinase inhibition has been discovered. Through the increased activity of phospholipid degrading enzyme, or PLD1. It hydrolyzes the main components of the cell membrane, and this expression of tyrosinase decreases and intracellular melanin content declines by enhancing PLD1 activity. The pituitary gland also plays a role in melanogenesis. The pituitary gland releases many hormones in direct response to certain stimuli, such as UV exposure. Your eyes are a light meter and register the amount of UV. MSH, or melanin-stimulating hormone, is produced as a metabolite of propiomelanocortin, or POMC, upon exposure to sunlight. And this increase results in the increase of melanin production. Finally, we look at melanosome transfer. As previously discussed, the mast cells play a role in the inflammatory response of the skin, especially when combined with UV exposure. Mast cells containing tryptase are significantly increased upon exposure to the sun. Tryptase degrades the dermal matrix and basement membrane, destroys type 4 collagen, and stimulates melanosome transfer. So an increase in UV exposure causes an increase in mast cells in the exposed areas, and therefore tryptase expression is increased in relation. And this is a major contributing factor to photoaging. The transfer of melanin is the last process of melanogenesis, where the melanosome delivers the pigment granule to the keratinocyte. The melanin takes its place over the DNA to protect it from UV exposure. Now, multi-prong attack is the best planned through the restriction of UV exposure, inhibition of melanogenesis mediators, inhibition of tyrosinase, inhibition of melanin production, antioxidants, and finally, melanosome transfer. So taking each step into consideration, your initial sun exposure should be avoided. But after that initial sun exposure, the physiological pathway of communication that ultimately results in the stimulation of tyrosinase and melanogenesis. Therefore, we can barricade this process with the application of scientifically researched ingredients. So step 1, as mentioned, sunscreen. This will help to block and reflect UV radiation. We use neem leaf extract to reduce the transmitting messages from the keratinocytes and mast cells, stimulating the release of tyrosinase. We use Secura extract B to reduce the histamine release, reducing the stimulation through inflammation, and it also helps to improve barrier function and reduce transepidermal water loss. At this stage, antioxidants such as honeybush, panthenol, and vitamin C are important as well. Bioaffinity also helps through the stimulation of the keratinocytes. Bioaffinity inhibits the transcription of NFKB, that gene that induces inflammation, and therefore aids in the prevention of sun-related aging. Then step 3, we use Seppi-White, MSH, a melanin-stimulating hormone receptor antagonist. This has been shown to reduce melanin production. Then we move our sights to tyrosinase. Alpinia White significantly activates the PLD1 pathway, which results in a lighter skin appearance and the reduction of tyrosinase activity. Lactic acid is a proven tyrosinase inhibitor and helps to treat pigmentation lesions. Alpha-arbutin exhibits impressive tyrosinase inhibition. Then turning our sights to the transfer of melanin. Vitamin B3 as niacinamide blocks the transfer. Princess Care is an excellent tryptase inhibitor, and tryptase leads to an increased melanosome transfer. So the inhibition of tryptase decreases melanosome transfer. And finally, ClearU. This decreases the phagocytosis by which the keratinocytes actually engulf the melanosome containing melanin. So the multi-bioactive MelaPrep lotion helps to leave the skin brighter looking within the appearance of an even more skin tone. After pre-cleansing, cleansing, and toning, you'll apply the MelaPrep lotion to darken areas of the skin, and you'll do this morning and evening. Contains niacinamide blocking the transfer, Sepi-white MSH as your melanin-stimulating hormone antagonist, and alpha-arbutin as your tyrosinase inhibitor. Then we're going to optimize the fading of the appearance of uneven skin tone through the synergistic serum cocktail. You're going to improve the appearance of uneven skin tone and the look of sun-damaged skin by the use of the Vita Botanical Melafade Serum A. After you've pre-cleansed, cleansed, and toned, you'll apply the Melaprep lotion to the darkened areas of the skin. Then you'll mix equal amounts of Serum A and Serum B and massage it into the pigmented areas of the skin, and you'll do so morning and evening. Adding cosmetic needling for advanced users, and doing so in the evening, will also be recommended to improve and augment the results from the system. We have Princess Care that blocks the transfer of the pigment into the keratinocyte by the use of the decrease of the tryptase. So the decrease in tryptase leads to a decrease in melanosome transfer. Biobaffinity is an extract from the leaves of the artichoke plant. Biobaffinity inhibits the transcription of the gene expression that is related to sun-related aging. And finally, lactic acid, a known tyrosinase inhibitor, hydrator, and brightener. The Melafade System B will help to improve the appearance of uneven skin tone and the look of sun-damaged skin. The Melafade Serum B contains parthenol or vitamin B5, known as an anti-inflammatory ingredient, also improves hydration. Alpinia White significantly deactivates the pathway that increases tyrosinase activity by activating the PLD1 enzyme. Clear U decreases the phagocytosis and transfer into the keratinocyte. Neem leaf extract reduces the transmitting messages from the keratinocyte and mast cells that ultimately stimulate the release of tyrosinase through inflammation. Sakura B extract also is related to inflammation, and it helps to reduce histamine release. And honeybush tea as our antioxidant. Intense Sea Boost Miller Even Cream helps to relieve the look of uneven skin tone and leaves the skin healthy looking and radiant. The Intense Sea Boost Miller Even Cream. After you've pre-cleansed, cleansed, and toned, you'll apply the Melaprep lotion to darkened areas of the skin, mixing equal amounts of the serum A and B and gently massaging that into the pigmented areas. You're going to do this morning and evening. Cosmetic needling, of course, is advised prior to the application of the Melaprep lotion and the Melafade serum, and it's recommended for advanced users of Environ. You'll add the Miller Even cream to the full face or your darkened areas of the skin, and then finally follow with your vitamin A moisturizer. This product includes vitamin C as a powerful antioxidant, ascorbyl tetraisoparmitate, an oil-soluble vitamin C that inhibits tyrosinase activity and also helps to protect the skin from free radical activity. Vitamin E is a powerful oil-soluble antioxidant which protects the cellular membrane. This is after multiple months use of the Melaprep system along with the Youth Essentia system. One can see an overall improvement in the skin tone and uneven pigmented areas. This is multiple months use, up to 22 months use of the Melaprep system along with the Youth Essentia system. This is only 3 months of the Melafade Solutions system along with the AVST3 product. So the use of the Mela Smart system in more detail. Once your pre-cleanse, cleanse, and tone with your preferred Environ products, the Mela Prep lotion does not replace the use of the toner. You'll apply the Mela Prep lotion to darken areas of the skin morning and evening. Massage it into the areas of concern with your fingertips. You'll mix equal amounts of A and B into the palm of your hand and massaging that into the pigmented areas. You'll lightly massage the serum mixture until it's absorbed. It's important to use equal amounts to ensure the correct concentrations of actives are applied. Cosmetic needling prior to the application of the Mela Prep lotion and Mela Fade serum system is recommended for advanced Environ users. Cosmetic needling will help to ensure a better result. All users should aim to include it eventually. So finally, you'll then apply your Mela Even cream to the full face if the damage is extensive, or just to darkened areas if the damage is localized. You'll do this morning and evening before moisturizing with your recommended Environ Vitamin A moisturizer. Always aim to use the highest level of vitamin A in combination with the Mela Smart system. Retinol 3 has been very successfully used on an actual area of pigmentation as a localized treatment. Remember to always use an SPF of 25 during the day to protect against exposure to the effects of UV. It's recommended level and it works extremely well. There is no fragrances added to the serums. The smell is that of the ingredients, no fragrances added. The cosmetic needling is always going to enhance the effectiveness of a system, but the overall appearance will be achieved, just it will take a little longer if cosmetic needling is not involved. It's normal to experience uneven skin tone looking a little bit darker before they lighten in appearance. As melanin moves up the layers of the skin, this can be experienced. It's not a reason for concern, and none of our trialist experiments experienced any permanent darkening in the appearance of pigmentation. It may happen as soon as the first 14 days of use. The rate of darkening and improvement differs from client to client. Once you have achieved your ultimate goal, do you have to continue using the system? It is recommended to use the system continuously, now not just as a spot treatment, but as an overall preventative measure. Thank you so much for joining the webinar today. We do appreciate your support. My name is Candice Noonan, and if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, candice@dermaconcepts.com. Please note that all our material is copyright, and none of it can be duplicated and used for social media posting. So please keep that in mind when you are going through our presentations and attending our trainings, that you cannot replicate, duplicate, and then reuse any part of the training presentations that you are exposed to. We do appreciate you, and we hope you have a great day.